I just got like C grades, just a very average student. And then I had to get a 9 to 5 job, very boring job. Cleaning toilets, office work, warehouse work, literally everything.
What was your sales record?
The highest I've done in a month is
Hello everyone, this is Eddie, and today I'm going to be chatting with Harry Coleman, the Beast of Ecom, who has inspired a lot of entrepreneurs, including myself. So this is going to be an interesting conversation. Hey Harry, what's up?
Hey man, I'm glad to be on here, and it's a pleasure to, not only connect with yourself and also help the people who are watching this, inspire them and hopefully, get them in the right direction so that they can make 2023 one of the best years that they've had, man. So I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah, you've been doing that for a long time, by the way, and I appreciate your work. Honestly, I've been watching your videos when I started, when I was a complete beginner.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
this for me means a lot, and thank you for agreeing to do this interview. But for the people that do not know you yet, would you mind giving us a brief introduction?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Harry Coleman. Some of you guys who are watching this may know me as the Beast of Ecom, which is my name of my YouTube channel and my personal brand. I've been doing e-commerce and dropshipping for like probably 5, 6 years now. Generated multiple 7 figures and also helped a lot of people, do the same kind of thing as well and help them, transition from the whole 9 to 5 grind to starting their own business in e-commerce and scaling them up. And, there's been plenty of fantastic testimonials that have happened over the years, and it humbles me hearing it come from people like yourself as well. So that's one of the benefits of doing what I've been able to do. So appreciate it, man.
100%, wonderful. So, Harry, how did you find out about dropshipping? How did you get started with it? When did you get the idea to start doing this thing?
Yeah, sure. So it's a weird story. So I mean, I think everyone watching this video has, at least if you've heard of the term dropshipping, you've probably at night time, you may be working a job or in education, you go home and you type on online how to make money online. I think everyone wants to make money online because it gives you the freedom to, travel, and you see the whole laptop lifestyle kind of thing. And, I was exactly the same, exactly in the same kind of boat. So the way I came across dropshipping, previously before dropshipping, I used to try and sell shit on eBay. I tried affiliate marketing, which completely bombed. I also tried Forex and all that kind of shit. And again, didn't work out. So I was on, there was a forum called Black Hat World, Black Hat Forum, Black Hat Forum it's called. Weird, so many weird and different wonderful ways to make money online, like domain flipping and all that kind of stuff. And there was this thread, I remember this thread very vividly. Basically, it was this guy, right? Back then it was like free plus shipping, the whole free plus
Yeah.
shipping model. And I remember this thread that it was like how I'm making 10K per month selling free products, and in brackets it had like AliExpress, Shopify, and Facebook ads. I remember going through it and just thinking to myself like, what? I had never heard of AliExpress at that point. I've obviously, I don't think I'd heard of Shopify at that point either. I knew what Facebook ads were, and I remember just going through the whole of the thread because he was replying. It was like an ask me anything kind of thing, and I was just replying. It was like 10 pages deep, and I'd go through all of it,
Yeah.
and that's when I first ever came across dropshipping. Like the whole concept was completely foreign to me, and I just thought this sounds interesting. Let me dive deep into it and see what I can come out of it. And then literally I was just googling on Facebook and on Facebook groups trying to find out what dropshipping is and joining every single dropshipping group that was out there. And that was how I first came across dropshipping, like the name itself.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful.
How about yourself, actually?
Oh, some people actually presented it to me when I lost my job, and I didn't know how to make money, honestly, and I was thinking I was gonna get another job. So some people presented the idea to me, and I was like, "Oh, no way, we can make a few $100s a month." And to me, that was crazy because I was thinking I can stay at home and still make some money. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started. I mean, it's a longer story, but I want to focus on you. I can tell that to you another time, anyway. But anyway, similar to you, I went online, started learning everything, joined every group, watched every single YouTube video, including yours, and yeah, that's kind of how it happened for me and how it got started for me. But what I'm curious to know is when you got a little deeper into it and you started actually doing it. What did your parents think about it? Did they say, Harry, you gotta go to university, you gotta, I don't know, get a job, this is not safe? What was their reaction when you said, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna make money on the internet now?
So I didn't tell a lot of people what I was doing. Like I didn't really tell anyone what I was doing. I'd tell like my friends at school. I'd tell a few of my friends who I used to go to gym with because I used to go to the gym a lot back then because that was all I used to do, just go to the gym and stuff like that. And I never really told them about what I was doing because I knew that they would never kind of understand the concept of dropshipping anyway. So I was kind of the person who just done it and was always just gonna let my results um, have the effect of, okay, here's what I'm making. Like mom, dad, they're not going to understand it and they're going to think it's a scam. So I kind of like kept it to myself. Um, However, I still done school because so I started drop shipping. Sorry, I started drop shipping after university because I know yeah. So I started drop shipping. I came across drop shipping after university. So in school times, um, I just scraped through. I just got like C grades, just a very average student.
Yeah.
And then after school, when I went to university, that's what I didn't really know what to do after that. So I just kind of just thought, you know what, all my friends are going to university. Let me just go to university. Went to university, graduated, and then I had to get a 9 to 5 job. Very boring job. I've done cleaning toilets, office work, warehouse work, literally everything. And then obviously came across the dropshipping, like I mentioned previously before. And yeah, I never really told them about it. If it's, to kind of answer your question, I never really told them about it.
But
But
when they
they,
did find out what you're doing, what was
yeah,
their reaction?
when they did find out, I think they were like they were supportive. Because at the end of the day, it's like um, I had a job and then I got fired from my job as well. But
Oh, same.
but my parents, yeah, my parents have never been the ones to say, they've never been strict, as in like, okay, you have to go to school or you have to do X, Y, and Z. So I was kind of fortunate in that way, and I know a lot of people who are watching this, the younger generation and stuff like that, may be in a conflicting relationship with their parents of what they want to do. But I never really had that, my parents to say, do X, Y, and Z because that's what you need to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
My parents are not graduated, they're working class, you see.
Hmm.
So they never went to university themselves.
I see. Okay, it's good that they're supportive. My parents were also supportive, scared for me still, but supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to what you said, you went through uni. You said probably
Yes.
you finished it.
Yeah, so I went to university, and I done so when I was growing up to like bring context to what we're talking about. I first and foremost wanted to be either a footballer or a entrepreneur. One of the two. That was it, right? Growing up, I was really good at football, and for the American people, I don't mean the throw thing. I mean the
Yeah,
actual,
soccer.
the European soccer. Yeah, I mean the actual
Right.
kickball football, right? So they were the only two things that I wanted to do. And when I got to university, I used to play football quite a lot. And then when I got to university, I again that all kind of went out the window. And it was like, okay, I'm gonna have if I'm gonna go to university, I'm gonna need to how to learn how to be an entrepreneur. So I did a business and management degree,
Okay.
and I thought that was gonna be the stepping stone into starting a business, right? You got to remember that when you go to university, the university professors have never, 95% of the time, have never ran a profitable business themselves. They learn from the books, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know how to set up an LLC for the US people. You don't know how to set up a limited company. They don't show you about taxes, credit cards, all this kind of stuff. They basically teach you, and all of my degree was all around how to be a middle manager. If I'm going to get employed on a graduate scheme job, it was
Okay.
basically all about, yeah, about how to be a good manager as a middle manager, right? So I came out of
So
university. Yeah, I came out of because they teach you how to be a cog in the system,
yeah.
essentially. And I came out of university, tons of debt, and there was like the graduate roles that you could apply for, and they were like, oh, they were so awful, man. Like you'd have to go through like 10 different interviews. The salary was like 50K a year, and it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I just got a normal job, 9 to 5 jobs, like I previously mentioned before. Um, and that was kind of like, again, yeah, just really hard time for me because I was still trying to find my way.
Hmm.
And the 9 to 5 job just isn't gonna cut it for the dreams that I had,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. A lot of respect for you for coming out of that, breaking out of that system. That's amazing. But um, Speaking of the professors and everything that you had at the university, the experience that you had, what do you think about universities in general? Like, do you think that the traditional educational system, is it like outdated? Is it still efficient? Like, do you believe in it? What do you think? Now that people have the
So
internet to learn from.
yeah, of course. So my personal opinion is this from what I've learned, right, and from my personal experience, and I will eventually try and pass this on down to my future generations and kids and stuff like that. If you want to go to university, okay, I would only recommend going to university if you want to be someone who you require that degree to be qualified in that profession. So if you want to be a doctor or a brain surgeon or someone of that caliber, you need a degree, a professional degree, to be able to perform that job, right? And ideally, I'd want someone who was working on my brain, not to learn from the internet how to, I'd rather them get an actual
Yeah.
degree to, study for 7 years of formal education, right? However, if you're going to go to university and study something like psychology or something, again, even like what I do in business management, I really wouldn't recommend going ahead and doing it because all you're going to come out with is again debt, and also you're going to come out with relationships, which is friends. And don't get me wrong, I've made some fantastic relationships going to university. However, is it worth the 30, 60K that you pay for it? Maybe not, whereby you can actually build the experience of the 3 or 5 years actually in the trenches, doing work yourself or building up your capital, even if it is just a normal job. One of the actual goals that I have when I retire is I want to actually try and reform education system, but I know that's something hard to do, but something more of the lines of helping underachieving and underprivileged kids in schools and teaching them about financial literacy, teaching them that they can make money on the internet, teaching them that they don't have to be a cog in the wheel, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's very hard to do because when you're challenging the actual formal systems, there's going to be a lot of friction. But yeah, in short, to answer your question, only go to university if you're going to do something like brain surgeon or doctor or something, or a dentist or something that requires that kind of thing. If not, um, and again, I know people will have conflicting views with their parents, but again, it's really not worth going. You can learn a hell of a lot what you need to on the internet already.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And what you said about reforming the educational system, that is a massive thing, but the thing is, you've already started doing that. People have already started learning from you and getting inspired and actually starting to look into the internet or, straight to the resources that are available to learn themselves, like I've done. So you've already started doing that, so you should be proud of yourself.
Thanks, man. I
And probably a
appreciate it.
lot more is coming. But now that you've come so far and gone through the entire process and have achieved quite a bit, I want to ask, what was your biggest failure or loss like? When did you feel the lowest? Once you started, now I understand that maybe when you were at school or when you had a job, you didn't feel that good. But I'm saying once you started, gained a bit of success, you got a bit of money going and things were going right for you. We run into a lot of problems as entrepreneurs. Like every day, you got to put out fires. What was the biggest one that really, really put you down, but you still overcome it? And how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So again, like you've mentioned, if you're in the game of dropshipping and e-commerce, you've had faced pretty much every single thing underneath the sun. PayPal accounts, bans, Facebook bans, supplier issues, VA issues, absolutely everything you can name I've experienced. However, the one that sticks in my mind the most was a PayPal issue that I had. So, and I actually done a YouTube video on this because it was like, at that point, I was just like, what the hell is going on? But this was after I'd solved the issue. But essentially, again, you have times as an entrepreneur where it's like, it's never just like one straight linear line. You'll find yourself up here, then you'll find down here, then you go up here, then you go down here, then you go down here, then you go up here. And one of the one that vividly sticks in my mind was a PayPal issue that I had. Essentially, I was running a store and was scaling very well. And essentially, what happens is PayPal used to call you on the phone, right? Because you have to have the mobile on. PayPal used to call you on the phone. And I was on holiday at the time. I think I was in Croatia, I believe. And it's an island number. It's an Irish number over here because PayPal's based in Ireland over here, right? And I get a call on the phone, but I know if you miss it, then they drop you an email because you've missed the call. So I see the call, I see the Irish number because I literally saved it, and at this point, I have PayPal in my phone as PayPal pickup in capitals. So if I see that, like, you best pick up the phone. And essentially, I've missed that call. I'm thinking, oh fuck, man, So I check my email and you just say your account hold. I check it, and because really foolishly, what I used to do, and again, anyone watching this, I recommend that you don't do this. I used to be fascinated with numbers, and I used to kind of like I wanted to build my PayPal account up so that it had 100K in it because 100K to my eyes, when you haven't made 100K, 100K is like shit ton of money, right? So I
Yeah.
used to leave money in my PayPal because I wanted to see it get to that 100K so I could take a picture of it and be like, look, I've got 100K here, right? So I never used to withdraw. And I remember I just used to keep selling, 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 and it used to build up. And then I get the email, and the email basically was a hold on my account. So I had a 70K, 70 or 80 grand hold, like just
Damn.
waxed my money for like 180 days. Plus, they put a rolling reserve on my account for 70%, which is
70%.
effectively, yeah, which effectively means you're fucked, you're screwed, right? Because essentially, you can't, anyone who's watching this is rolling reserve is where whatever money comes in, they'll take a percentage of it for hold for an X amount of days, and then they will release it at the end of that, providing that there's no hiccups. And this was again, yeah, 180 days, no, 100 either 120 days or 60-day rolling reserve for 70%. At that point, I thought, yeah, it's game over. I thought that was it. That was game over. But when I got back home, yeah, I was lucky that I could find a contact in PayPal, and I used to call them every single day, just like, look, I can't run my business like this. I've got suppliers to pay. Playing the whole sympathy card. I mean, it really wasn't sympathy because I was on my knees, and eventually they reduced it down to 25% and released the capital, the collateral reserve is what they call it. So I
Yeah.
got back the 80K, and they reduced the rolling reserve down. So, for anyone watching this, I still have a rolling reserve to this day. So you're never really going to get around it, but this is one of those things.
Yeah, I get that. Damn, like 70%. As a dropshipper, generally your profit margin just goes around 20%. So basically, even if you
Exactly.
were to try, like you'd be kind
Exactly.
of making no money for a few months. So that's a bit ridiculous that they did that.
Yeah.
If you do process quite a few payments and get not that many disputes, you can call them and say, "Listen, I got cash flow issues." That's what I'm doing, and I'm getting rid of reserves and stuff, just for people watching, and maybe helps you as well. You gotta go to settings in your profile settings, set up that estimated monthly revenue to a super high number,
Right.
and then when you call them and say, "Listen, I really can't. Like my customers are not gonna get the products in time because of you." That works for me. And I don't
Mhm.
know, maybe it
Yeah.
works for you. I'm sure you tried a ton of things, honestly, but maybe it works for some other people watching at least. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that's crazy, especially when you don't have that much and they just take it from you. That's awful. But
It's
anyway,
wild.
we pushed through. Um, Now that I asked you about the worst moment that you've had in your e-commerce journey, how about the best? Like, what was your sales record in a day with Shopify dropshipping?
Yeah, so I've done $50,000 in a day is the highest day that I've done. The highest I've done in a month is 1 million a month. Now, what I will say, right, guys, watching this is like doing 1 million a month, if you're drop shipping, is not easy, right? Like, and at that point, like shit was at breaking point. And I'll be 100% transparent with people watching this because it's not easy to do if you're drop shipping. Now, if you've got a brand and you're purchasing in full, and even to any brand, if they're doing 1 million a month, that's like it's a lot of volume, right? But if you're drop shipping, you have that added layer of complexity because you're relying on a supplier, and hiccups can happen, etc. So that's the most that I've ever done. But like stuff does get to at breaking point, and you have to have everything in point. And like I mentioned, stuff was at breaking point at that point. So again, I wouldn't recommend anyone who's kind of new to scale into that point until you've got the systems in place. If you've got everything in place in terms of systems, and you've got a lot of VAs and stuff like that who can handle customer service. You've got a supplier who can ship your products out nice and good, your products of quality so that your feedback score doesn't go down, then yeah, by all means, scale hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are some crazy numbers to be honest. And by the way, for everyone watching, I'm going to link Harry's YouTube channel in the description of this video. So definitely go and check out the videos that he made because they're actually really inspiring and valuable. And
Appreciate that.
yeah, so that's amazing, man. Congratulations. That's a massive number, and I'm sure you're gonna go over that very soon. But yeah, what I wanted to also know, you did that with Facebook ads?
I do Facebook ads, yeah. That's my bread and butter. I love Facebook ads. Like it's, I have this love-hate relationship, and I try to do the whole TikTok shit, and I know there's a lot of gurus out there who are doing the TikTok stuff and getting fantastic results with it. And again, what I would say to someone watching this is just pick your poison because, like, don't try and do TikTok ads and then fuck with it, and then it goes wrong, and then you try and do Facebook ads. Just solve the issues that you have on the platform, and there's always a workaround on the platforms anyway, right? So for me, like my experiences with Facebook ads, that's what I got up and running with, and yeah, I just like at scale. And when it works, I know you probably understand this as well, but when
Yeah.
it works, there's really no, in my opinion, there's really no comparison to any of the platform when Facebook works well.
Yeah, 100%. But then you wake up with a banned account or something. Damn.
Yeah.
Awful when you wake up
Yeah.
to those emails, man. It's not
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, there are workarounds for that too.
The thing that annoys me is when you log in, like I'll be honest, I probably got PTSD from using Facebook for this long, like
Red
because
bar at
any
the top.
yeah, and the bit where like you log in and then there's that split second where you see the dark screen and like that, and you know that it's just gonna say bad. Yeah, yeah, I get nightmares over that stuff.
Yeah, man. I've been banned like hundreds of times. Like even now, like I got so many banned accounts I'm running from all kind of like
It
profiles
happens,
and
man.
stuff. But yeah, in that case, since you're so good at Facebook ads, I mean, both of us do Facebook ads. I'm sure people are curious if you could give us like a brief explanation of how you normally test a dropshipping product with Facebook ads. What's kind of your strategy to do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So my testing strategy will be dependent upon which country I'm testing. So I know a lot of people who may be watching this may be doing like the EU drop shipping style of things, or if you're doing a traditional like top four where you're doing like USA and then the rest of the world. So I'll tell you both essentially. If you're doing a small EU country like Sweden, Norway, Belgium, Netherlands, or whatever it may be, where your store is natively in that language, just go broad. Literally one campaign, one ad set with two or three creatives inside of it, and just let it rip. Right? That's what I do for testing for a small EU country. If I'm testing something like the big countries, so like USA, ex USA, well, that's what I call it, USA, ex USA.
Excluding
One
US, basically.
yeah, excluding the USA because USA usually gets higher CPMs, right? And I've had like products where you can scale and you don't need to be targeting the United States. Now, if you can get something to work in the United States, and you can get over the $1 CPMs and you've got enough high enough AOV to be able to scale and it works, then it works fantastically. And that's what the $1 million and a more month that was targeting majority of United States because the scale's
Yeah,
really high.
massive.
Yeah, but with like the ex-USA countries, again, United Kingdom, Canada, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, those kind of countries, then again, what I do is just do the one campaign, split them both out, and have like five interests or four interests targeting USA, and then four other interests targeting these other countries, all grouped though. And I personally like to do ABO because I find like I've always loved ABO. Like I tried the CBO. There was point in time when Facebook were just going to keep everything CBO.
They
Like we're
practice
going to
that.
have, yeah, they were like we're going to have everything CBO, everything CBO. So I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to try and get ahead of the game and just start testing everything CBO. And some things worked, some things didn't. But as soon as they said, okay, we're not going to scrap that, it's a stupid idea anyway. I just always stuck to ABO, even with creative testing to this day. I prefer to just have
Makes sense.
ABO because it gives me the flexibility to cut over my budgets. Yeah.
Yeah, same. All right, wonderful. Thank you for that. I my strategy is very similar to yours. Most people that watch me know already, and they should probably know that it's very similar. But yeah, that's amazing. All right, so I'm wondering, with all the stores that you're running and maybe other businesses that not everyone's aware of, how does a day in your life look like? Like a regular day, but no, like no bullshit. You're not. I'm assuming you're not going out to play some golf, shop for a watch every single day. Like people make it seem like it is. How does it look? For me, I wake up, my eyes are barely open, and I start working straight away. It's boring. I'm curious to see, from another person who's honest and real. Like, how does it look like for you?
Bro, listen, exactly the same, and every single day could be different. And because like I've got like the education side of things, and then because I've got my personal brand side of things, then I've got stores, etc. And everything like I mentioned, I wake up at like I'm not one of these 4 a.m. dudes. Like you see these guys wake up, cold shower, fucking, meditate for 10 hours and all this
Yeah.
kind of bullshit. Like, fuck all that. Like, I don't care about all that. As soon as you wake up, jump in the shower, have breakfast, get to your desk and work. That's like me. So again, I'll wake up at like 8 a.m. I'll be at my desk working by 9. And again, like it's 8 p.m. now. So I'll take a break. First and foremost, check over emails and check over everything. Check account quality to make sure no shit's been banned, you know. And then yeah, from there I check my ads, anything that needs cutting or anything that needs scaling, do that in the morning time and recheck them, and then everything else that I've got scheduled. And one thing that's actually been helping me that you guys may have find value is using if anyone's not using Trello, that's something that can help you out as well. And just setting like Google Calendar as well, and just blocking out what you need to do. Right, that's one thing that helps me out. So in Trello, one way that you can set things up for anyone watching this is you can have like this year, this month, no, this year, this month, this week, today, in progress and then completed, and then just put down a task that you need to do. And if it's there that to do it this week, then just move it along if it's in progress. If it's completed, move it along, and then you can archive it out once it's completed. So that's one thing that you can use Trello, and it's 100% free, by the way, guys. You don't have to any paid subscription for that. But yeah, I wake up and I literally just work from whatever needs to be done, and I just get it done. However, what I will say is sometimes like things will come up, like a supplier issue, or I need to fix something on a website, and then like the person I have to get it done like there and then. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So sometimes my day doesn't follow the exact same structure every single day.
Hmm.
So to answer your question, like, and anyone watching this, just get up and just fucking get what needs to be done. Just do it. Just I'm not structured. Well, I'm really not the most structured person either, or organized if I'm being 100% honest. Hence why I use things like Calendar and Trello as well.
You're a lot more organized than me. I just get up and I pull them out of my head what I need to do. I don't write anything anywhere. I just know what I gotta do and I just keep going. And then things show up just like come up just like you said, and then I add that to the list. And yeah, I'm definitely not as
Mhm.
organized as you. I don't know anything down. I just keep it in my head until I explode. But it's been it's been working out. So as an entrepreneur, what is your version of success like? When will you consider yourself successful? Maybe you have, I don't know, but like, what do you see as success? What are you aiming for?
Yeah, so some people will attach a monetary value to success. However, I don't think that is very wise thing to do because money is infinite, and if you are continually chasing money, then you'll continually never have a fulfilling lifestyle. You'll never be fulfilled essentially because the money is infinite. Someone's always going to have a bigger yacht, someone's always going to have a faster car, someone's always going to have a better watch than you, and if you're continually chasing those things, you will never have fulfillment. So for me, success is having abundance in absolutely everything that embodies life. So not only just wealth, but health, love, relationships, happiness. Having an abundance of all of those equals success, because you could argue that the person who has 3 kids, even though he has a 9 to 5 job, he's happy in what he does, and he's got a loving 3 kids and a loving wife that helps him along the way, and he's happy at doing what he does, and he doesn't want the whole red pill bullshit that you see on Twitter, because again, happiness is very multifaceted. So for me personally, it's having abundance of all of those things in your life to be successful. Now, to answer your question, am I successful? I'm getting there, but I don't feel like I am at the point where I would consider myself like completely 100% happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not, I'm not down. I'm not like I've done very well, but I'm not. I don't feel like, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs battle with this
Yeah.
as well. You know, um, so yeah, I don't think I'm like successful yet, but I'm getting there. And that's what I think success is having an abundance of all of those things that I've mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely doesn't only have to do with money. I know that we're all playing this game and we're all chasing money because, it sucks to be poor. It hurts uh, when you can't afford things, when someone you love can't afford healthcare, something that they wish for. It hurts. We have
Mhm.
to play that game. But
Mhm.
success is definitely composed of multiple things, just like you said. And someone that's absolutely filthy rich, they're not necessarily successful because maybe they're lacking on the other side, which you could argue is more important, having someone that you love next to you, and taking care of you.
Exactly.
So yeah, well said. I hope people pick the right information from here and actually apply it to their own mindset. So I appreciate that you shared that with me. Now, I've taken in a lot of your time already, so just as a last bit, what kind of advice would you give to people that are like beginners, like getting into entrepreneurship, dropshipping? They want to start, they're watching this because they want to get inspired. They don't know how it works. They're kind of like, at the beginning of the journey, like we were a few years ago. What would you tell them to help them, come out of their situation and be successful eventually?
Sure. So the first thing you need to do, right, is you need to first and foremost take action. There's so many, like I call these people entrepreneurs because they want to be an entrepreneur, but they do fucking absolutely everything except be an entrepreneur. Now you got to remember, right, the actual definition of being an entrepreneur, if you look it up on Google, is something along the lines of a person who sets up a business, right, taking on financial risk in the hope for a profit. That's the main definition of an entrepreneur. Some people aren't willing to take on that risk, and if you're not willing to take on that risk, you can never be an entrepreneur. So you have to be comfortable with what's the word I'm looking for? The kind of pressure of taking on some sort of risk, right? Whether that's you have to spend $300 to test out some products, or you have to risk you save up some money, a capital 1,000 to 2,000 to test them out. You have to do that. So first and foremost, be comfortable with risk, right? The second thing is you have to first and foremost take action. You have to take action, like even if it's just small action of every day, and that's just something along the lines of you have to open up a domain name, or your goal is to have your store set up within a weekend, or something along those lines. You have to actually take the action, because one thing I've noticed that the only way to learn how to swim is by getting in the water, and a lot of people are afraid to get in the water. You're never going to learn how to swim if you don't actually jump in. So first and foremost, take some action. Another thing that I find for newbies is you have to learn from your mistakes, and this is something that a lot of newbies don't do. And this is what I honestly find what separates the people who have success, the new people who have success, to those who are consistently failing. If you cannot, right, if you cannot first and foremost learn from your mistakes and analyze why something is or isn't working, you are not going to be able to move forward and have success. If you don't know why your creative isn't working, or some people get lucky and they run a product and it works, but then it dies down and they can't run anything else again because they haven't analyzed why it actually worked on a fundamental level. So if you are able to do that, you will have a much faster success, and you will hit your goals a hell of a lot more quicker if you are able to analyze why something is working and why it isn't working. So learn from your mistakes. That would be the other thing. And second of all is just follow tried and tested people. Eddie is a fantastic guy. He's got the results. He does it over and over and over again. So why on earth would you question a guy who's doing it over and over again? That's one thing that baffles me as well. People with, starting from zero, like, oh, bro, that might not work. Like, dude, he's doing it in front of your face. Everyone out here is doing it in front of your face. So learn from people who are tried and tested, who are actually getting the results, and just test out their strategies, learn from your mistakes, take action. And and the final thing is probably not quit. There's been many times where I've failed, Eddie's failed. Everyone who's had some sort of success in life has failed, and that's the only reason why we are where we are, because we've failed enough times to get to where we're at. So that would be the things that I would say.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, have the balls to start, take action. Action's key. Speed is key. Don't just learn. Do something about it. Of course, you need to have some tolerance for failure. You need to embrace it. You need to learn from it. You need to learn from people above you. So all of these are amazing pieces of advice. I really hope that people actually follow them, because I know I learned it and I felt it on my own skin that this is all true. This is how I got here, and this is how I'm going to go a lot further. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom with us, Harry. I appreciate that you gave us your time. It really means a lot. I have a lot of respect for you, and a lot of people do. So yeah, thank you so much for this interview.
No, man, it's actually a pleasure. And again, like I mentioned, it's a pleasure to connect with you as well. And yeah, man, to everyone watching this, again, I wish you an amazing 2023, an amazing life as well.
Even got a taste for blood, and my tongue keeps bleeding from the word. I spit so sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling.